Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today it is time. We are back with some more Tyton gameplay with 3.0 Xbow cycle on top ladder. So he is currently about top 200, top 250 range against KK for the first match here. I don't know how, but this man has unbelievable patience. Still playing 3.0 Xbow cycle, in spite of how bad this meta has been, riddled with monks, with phoenixes, most importantly monks. But as you can see right here in our very first match, we are going against Miner, Mortar, Monk cycle, and with the Phoenix too. So I don't know how he's going to win this. I think he might... Okay, he's going to defend the Mortar. Makes sense. Sometimes I like to be kind of aggressive if they overcommit so much on offense like KK did just now. And Tyton actually does do just that with the Xbow opposite lane because Monk is out of cycle. Ice Spirit Goblins, very nice play out of KK, but even better Ice Spirit out of Tyton. And just like that, I think he might have won this game. Poison does come down. KK doesn't even bother to try and hit the tower. He just wanted to get it down as soon as possible, I guess. But that is a huge lock, and so these types of matchups are genuinely impossible for Xbow cycle, but just because of the fact that some people can make mistakes, or players like Tyton can analyze situations that most other people can't. For example, he knows when the opponent has overcommitted at any time. He's always tracking cycle, counting Elixir, at least I would assume so. He hasn't explicitly told me that, but you can tell by his gameplay that that is the type of stuff that he uses. And Knight Archer's preemptively cycled, and then he does go for an Expo again. So that was an interesting play, you know, stacking Archer same lane, especially because Poison was out of cycle. And here KK goes for a Goblins Monk, which is kind of smart because, you know, Monk deflects any spell, so you are not able to log after that. But Tyton is going to have to go for Knight for this Monk. And I do think this game might be over already, which is really impressive. But again, this is only because of the merits of Tyton. Like, KK went so aggressive there, and Tyton recognized when to punish him pretty much. So it's not like this is some magical strategy with Xbow where you are able to beat hard counters like this. It's mostly a genuine just game knowledge, game sense, knowing what to do. And because you saw how low KK was on Elixir, Tyton knew that exactly, even though, as you can see, I'm the only one spectating him, so he never spectates himself or Elixir or anything. He just has that knowledge, which is really impressive. And so Tesla does come down to defend the Miner. Miner forced on the Expo this time and just barely does get the Mortar down. So KK is kind of struggling to defend. Tyton does go for a last second fireball and actually does get a lock. So I love that play. It is kind of a catching the opponent off guard type play where I talk about this a lot in my videos, especially with log, but where they wouldn't expect something to die so they won't react in time. You can fireball or log to preemptively kill it, and that might just get you an Expo lock. So all these little tricks, you know, that pro Xbow players use, such as Tyton, they're very impressive, and they are allowing him to win stuff like these. Again, very impressive fireball value there. So Tyton does actually take fireball value pretty often, and he is actually really masterful with his usage of the fireball overall. Like, he always uses fireball super effectively, and you might have seen my video yesterday where I recorded him playing on the second last day of the ladder season, and he beat 2.6 with only fireball cycle, and that kind of stuff is what I mean. Like, he just knows how to use it. He innovates new strategies, and that's just why I like watching him, honestly. Maybe I'm too big of a fan of him, but I just am really impressed with this level of gameplay in this meta. As you can see, though, KK is catching up because this is really not a great matchup for Tyton, and just on cue, fireball cycle in, that gets a cheer. So, and he does go for an Expo anyways, but notice how he didn't go for the Expo right away. He needed the tower damage to get the damage, so the most optimal play was just a fireball there. Tyton calculated, does not get the mighty, or Monk, I almost said mighty Miner, does not get the Monk catch on or Monk trick rather, pulling the Monk out of Expo range, but he does still fireball again, and KK is catching up very closely, creeping up to Tyton's tower damage, and he is actually maybe going to outdamage him because, I mean, Miner can get so much value. But looks like Tyton is just one fireball log away, and Monk is actually already on the board, which means Tyton will not have to worry about any kind of deflection of spells. That's going to be game. Really impressive win against a very hard counter. KK gives a good game, and that is going to be a perfect game for the first match. Alright guys, we're getting into the next game against Juicy J, and he is primarily a Splashyard player, I believe. Also, I genuinely think that Tyton is the best Expo player in the game right now. Like, he has always been finishing super well. He is doing so well on ladder right now, and last season he finished 34th, which was unbelievable considering it was, again, the Monk Phoenix meta, even though it wasn't as prevalent as it is right now, you know, where the meta is developed and everyone is playing it. They had time to max it out. Still super impressive stuff against all those hard counters. Like, again, I personally gave up a week before the season even ended because I just wasn't having fun at all with 3.0 Xbow cycle in this meta. Lots of other people gave up too, but some people like Tyton just have so much patience and just do well. So Skeleton King Poison coming down for Juicy. Juicy is playing with the Skeleton King. I think it's definitely the best version of Splashyard right now. You could use a Monk in there as well, but I think Skeleton King is just too strong with the synergy with the Tombstone, so yeah, and that is going to be really helpful for Tyton, actually, because I think this is still going to be Xbow's matchup, because Skeleton King is not that great in terms of tanking for an Xbow. It does tank for a long time, it has a lot of HP, and the ability can force out a log as well, but it simply does not bode well for the Splashyard player, since you guys know how champion cycle works. When a champion gets placed down, you don't get back to it in 4 cards. You get back to it in 3 cards after it dies, I think, or maybe 4. I think it's 3, though, I'm not sure, because sometimes it definitely comes back sooner than I'd expect. But, yeah, right now, Tyton does get a lock, again, by virtue of exactly what I was talking about just now. Skeleton King's cycle is kind of weird, and Tyton actually goes with a punish with the Ice Spirit 2, Archer Knight on the left, and look at how much damage he got. So that is, again, exactly what I was talking about with this guy. He is just always innovating, you know, always punishing. He didn't even get the damage with an Xbow lock. He did get a lot of damage in the right, but his main source of damage there, he got more damage in the left, was from a Knight Archer punish, because Juicy had to commit to the Xbow on the right. It's just insane. So this guy just knows what he's doing all the time. That's why I love watching him. I've had him on the channel so many times. And also thank you again for Tyton allowing me to share these games with you guys, because I genuinely think that a lot of people are having trouble with Xbow in this meta, and so when someone like Tyton is doing so well, I really just want to share that with you guys, to show that, you know, the deck can still be viable if played perfectly. And I wouldn't even say this is viable, I would say this is just Tyton being a god. But yeah, I hope you guys do appreciate as well, you know, sharing these kinds of games. And yeah, so Tyton again going for the Xbows. Notice how Juicy J hasn't even gotten to play a single graveyard so far, just because Tyton is pressuring so well, and really nice Fireball, catching him right before. I think that was the animation of the Skeleton King activating the ability, but it did not come down in time. So pretty much Tyton just forcing Juicy to be on the defensive all the time. Now he switches it up, goes for a defensive Xbow. I guess he just felt like it, you know, maybe he didn't have Fireball. I think he didn't have Fireball in Cycle because he Fireballed on defense there. So his next play was just a defensive Xbow because he's up so much. If he wasn't up so much Elixir, I think he might Tesla or something, I don't know. I personally do pre-Tesla a fair amount, you know, up high. Yeah, like this, like Tyton just did. But I find it pretty interesting he went for the defensive Xbow there, but I think that is pretty much just because he was up in damage quite a lot. Again, Xbow coming down on the right. And so Tyton's towers are perfectly equal, no damage at all other than spells on Juicy J's part, and Ice Wiz does come down in time, but Tyton is still kind of pressuring, so this next X was probably going to show up in the left. You'll notice how he is constantly switching lanes. Actually, just Fireball cycles, exactly what I was talking about, you know? He loves his Fireball cycle, because I honestly think the reason for it is because Xbow is such a weak win condition. I've been thinking about it ever since I watched his gameplay, especially against the Hog 2.6 match. And it's just because Xbow is such a weak win condition that you can't even break through that often, so you are forced to resort to Spell Cycle as a result. And Fireball is a very interesting case because you never really think about Fireball Cycle, right? You think about Rocket Cycle, maybe Earthquake Cycle, but Fireball is usually used on offense to get value or to support an Xbow on offense, but Tyton just always naked Fireballs a lot of the time. And I think a lot of the reason, again, is because Xbow is just quite a weak win condition. He's just gotten 3 Fireballs down in, like, 30 seconds, I think, and goes for another Xbow because Juicy does not want to poison the defensive Xbow. So definitely utilizing defensive Xbows to their maximum. Actually does get a huge lock there. That's going to be Fireball range. That's going to be good game against Splashyard, Skeleton King, with Phoenix against one of the best Splashyard players too, Juicy J. Very well known for it. Alright guys, we are getting into the next game against this guy. I think his name is Pure Strength. He is a Golem player, one of the best Golem players in the world. I have always seen him on top ladder, especially with Classic Golem for so long, but recently I think he's been playing the new meta Golem Phoenix deck, because who wouldn't? It's like the best Golem deck. It's actually making Golem viable in this meta. So yeah, Lumberjack in the back. I really want to see how Tyton plays this one because I personally dislike this matchup quite a lot. I do like to... Okay, it's a Golden Knight too. That is going to be bad news. Expo comes down for Tyton. Wow, Phoenix comes down for Pure Strength. So I guess maybe Golem was his 8th card in Cycle, but I think maybe he just wanted to respond to the Archer Ice Spirit. And so the Expo was just very fortunate to be placed at that time. I don't know. But if Pure Strength just went Golem there, Tyton would have been able to do anything. And so Pump comes down. I want to see if Tyton fireballs or if he goes in, and he does fireball. And so the only reason for that, though, is actually because he wasn't even back to an Xbow. But I've been talking to some people, especially 7-4, the old best Xbow player, and or one of them anyway, and he told me that you always want to go in when they go for a pump, just because it's not really worth it to get the -1 trade with the fireball on it. So I'm interested to see how Tyton gets a lock in this matchup as well, because they have E-Drag, you know, they have Phoenix, they have Lumberjack Barb Barrel, Golden Knight as well, like, just going to hard counter this entire defense. Really bad dash, though, does not even hit the archers, so that's very lucky for Tyton. But we will see E-Drag, as you can see, is still chaining onto the archers, and this is why I really dislike this matchup. We are definitely going to have to see a fireball here on everything, and we do, and a log as well, but E-Drag is still living it big and causing a lot of issues. Ice Spirit, actually perfect timing. I'm actually really surprised that Tyton basically got away with that defense. I really thought he was kind of screwed there, but he did. Again, name of the game was Fireball Value, and also a perfect Ice Spirit as well. But he is down a bit of Elixir, and Pure Strength can go for a pump, and Tyton would not have a Fireball in cycle, although I guess he recognized that if he went for a pump, Tyton would definitely go for an Xbow, and it would be close to double Elixir, so if he gets a lock, it would kind of be over. But Golem comes down to block the Xbow right here. E-Drag to support, which means it will, again, hard counter the archers. E-Drag NATO is so annoying. I'm sure you guys can relate if you ever go against Golem E-Drag, or Elixir Golem E-Drag. Like, it's just very frustrating. Xbow is still actually going to town, and Fireball comes down, wow. And that Fireball is going to get Tyton a lock. Barbell forced out on the left, and oh my god, he's actually going to get a connection here because Pure Strength does not have enough to get anything down. No Golem, no Lumberjack, whatever. He actually just gave up. Oh, that was a really nice sequence there. So Tyton basically just forced out a defense by Pure Strength, and then got really nice Fireball value to force Pure Strength to overcommit to the Xbow on the left, then caught him without enough Elixir to Golem in time for the right one. That was just a really impressive way to address this matchup, and I think it was great. Like, I really didn't like this matchup, so really impressive stuff to Tyton there. Alright guys, and that is going to put Tyton at 3,001 medals. He did lose a few games as well, but that was, I think, his highest with 3.0 so far, and that is just so impressive, honestly, even though he has also been switching decks a bit. He's been playing the Remy Ellie Magic Archer Minor Wallbreakers deck, which I honestly don't even think is that strong of a deck right now. I mean, maybe it is. I know Remy's been doing well with it, but like, that's kind of crazy to think of it as being like an untilt deck when it doesn't even have a Phoenix or a Monk or anything. So very impressive to Tyton. His on-tilt deck, when he's tilted from losing with Xbow so much, is another really high-skill deck. Pump comes down and Xbow comes down. This is what I was talking about. You don't really want to Fireball, you want to go in, especially because he did have a Tesla here, makes a lot of sense too. And really nice micro there. Notice the skeletons to cut the left E-barb in, Knight on the right E-barb, and just perfect control of that E-barbs. And I don't think he would have been able to do that if he didn't have the Tesla on the board. He would have had to let the Xbow die. So I'm curious what he would have done if he didn't have a Tesla up, but he did, and so it just worked out perfectly well. That's also why you notice he went for the inwards Xbow placement. That's why I do it a lot as well. Lots of people do it when they have a Tesla on the board, because you want your Tesla to support your Xbow. If he went for an Xbow on the right, it wouldn't have necessarily targeted the E-barbs, and that would have been pretty bad. Wow, Tyton goes for an Xbow into this Golem here, and now I wonder how he's going to defend this, because he is going to be down a lot of Elixir. I mean, this Xbow is basically just a wasted 6 Elixir in a way, because the opponent just ignored it entirely. And Tyton does snipe the... Okay, he tried to snipe the E-Drag first. Knight up high to keep the Lumberjack there, and then that is... Wow, that is a very creative defense, I have to say. But I don't think he can defend this without a Fireball, that's for sure. And archers are also going to be taken out with the NATO very soon. Wow, Ice Spirit down low to free skeletons to kite upwards as well. Oh my god, he's basically... I would see, whenever I see them Golem in the back, I never go same lane anymore, because they always just ignore it and go with stuff and take my defense out, and I lose because I'm down Elixir. But Tyton didn't really care. He just defended the Golem on the opposing side of the map, defending the support troops half the time on the other side of the map, and took care of the Golem. He's doing it again with these skeletons. Ice Spirit, he's cutting it over to the other lane. That is actually so impressive. So he's not going to allow the Golem to get raged up at all, just because he cutted the Lumberjack all the way over. Like, I'm actually fascinated with this gameplay right now. These are creative ways to play this deck that I wouldn't not have imagined. I don't play the deck this way all the time. So that is just so incredible. And notice he's down so much Elixir right now, but he did get the damage lead and got the tower early on, so that's how he won against Golem again. So this is just incredible stuff. Again, he is lower on trophies right now, but 3001 is an amazing peak in a meta like this, and I just don't really know what to say. Like, he's just a very impressive player. Alright guys, so I decided to get one more game just because I want to show you Tyton's gameplay even more. He did kind of tilt a bit, and I think he's going to probably play other decks if he keeps losing, because this meta just has so many bad matchups for Xbow. But he did beat Mortar right at the start, and he beat Golem twice in a row, or not really in a row, but two different occasions. So, and that last game was just so impressive, like deflecting, or not deflecting, I said deflecting because the monk is deflecting right now, but just like taking care of the Golem support troops on the other side of the map is just crazy to me. But he executes it with so much confidence that it's just really nice to see. And so again, you know, I hope you guys are enjoying this video. Tyton, again, I would say that he's definitely the best Xbow player in the world right now with how he's been doing recently. And so this is just incredible stuff. I am not really sure. I don't think I can replicate this level of skill with a deck like this, but I just love to watch, and, you know, it is very inspirational as well. E-Drag is chaining, Tyton trying to get back to an Ice Spirit, I think, but that's going to be one balloon hit, unfortunately, so a bit of an early disadvantage for Tyton there. He did get some damage on the right. I think it was a bit late to this match, but basically kind of even, and so this is actually, I think, going to be slightly Xbow's matchup. Obviously, not a hard counter, you know, old Splash, LumberLoon with the Bowler, Baby Dragon, would have kind of been a pretty good counter in Xbow's favor, because they don't even have the Monk, they don't have many annoying cards except for the Inferno Dragon, but no big spell either, so you can just stack archers and defend with Fireball value and defense as well. But in this situation, I'm not really sure, because the opponent does have a Monk, so I personally have found myself winning this matchup every time with 3.0 Xbow cycle as well, but it's usually pretty close. Like, I don't think you should get a lock in a matchup like this if they know what they're doing. Rather, you just kind of defend well, because they can never break through either, and you have the direct tower damage with spells, and they don't. Tyton does go for an Xbow though, because Monk is out of cycle, and I guess Lumberjack was too. Tesla comes down to snipe the E-Drag, and I'm actually kind of curious about that, because I would normally not really go for a Tesla in that position, or in that situation even, because the opponent does have balloon in this deck, so I usually like to save it for the balloon. I would probably support with archers in that situation, but Tyton just went for the Tesla. I guess he's just that confident. But that is going to be quite a bad damage hit again, and wow, actually does get a lock because neither Lumberjack nor Monk was in cycle, I guess. Lumberjack comes down now, Fireball as well to take it out. Barbarian comes down, but that is not going to tank for the Xbow in time. Log as well, he's definitely going to protect this Xbow very hard. Yeah, Knight comes down last second. The opponent does deflect, but it doesn't actually work on the Xbow. Sometimes it's a really annoying thing where even if your Xbow's on tower and they activate Monk ability, when it's not even targeting the Monk, it'll still deflect the bullets. It's really annoying, but it didn't happen there, which is good. So again, Tesla coming down. It's pretty interesting because I think he knows that E-Drag chain would kill archers, so he doesn't want it to just die to the archers, or rather want the archers to die to the E-Drag. There is a placement you can use that will snipe an E-Drag without getting hit while it's on your Xbow, but I think if the opponent manipulates your archers with a NATO or goes for a Barbell or something, it's still not going to be that good. So kind of interesting that he is going for these Teslas on his Xbows, and he does actually get a lock again on the right. I think he might go for another Xbow on the left here because Monk is out of cycle. This is just perfect manipulation of the opponent's cycle right now. Nope, actually goes in on the right, I guess because he knew he would have to respond to the Knight on the left, and then he does just get to punish, and the opponent does not have a Lumberjack or a Monk in cycle right now. He has to go for a freeze balloon, so Tyton is just kind of playing with his cycle right now. Pretty impressive stuff again, and he has a pretty good damage lead on both lanes. Right side, slightly higher than Tyton's left side, but left side is also doing really well for Tyton, and he's definitely going to be able to win this one, I think, if he just holds on, but he doesn't even want to play defensive. He is going all in on offense. He's playing this matchup aggressively. I would probably play this a lot more passively, so again, this is why I love videos like these and watching people like Tyton, because it's just very smart to see what they do, and it's just honestly incredible sometimes. Like, I don't know, I have a really big fascination with watching really good Xbow players. Like, this is why I played this deck, because I love watching people play the deck perfectly, watching people play the game perfectly, and just always doing well. You know, finding ways to manipulate hard matchups like these, and it's just incredible. So, yeah, opponent is getting kind of a big initiative here, I guess, because Tyton is kind of, I guess he was going a bit too aggressive, maybe. But Tyton is still holding on, and he does get a fireball down last second, so Monk at the bridge is going to deflect tower damage, except for the fact that Tyton blocks it at the bridge with multiple troops, not just the Knight Skeletons, because if he only went Knight, it would have blocked, or it would have gotten knocked back into the tower range with the Monk's knockback, so really smart stuff by Tyton again. And that's going to be another win. Again, sadly, he is kind of losing a bit. Let's see where he's at. Alright, so he's at rank 221 to finish it off, but he was top 150, I believe, or so, and he crossed 3,000 rating with Xbow Cycle, which is just unbelievable. Like, I think he's the only person who reached 3,000 rating with 3.0 Xbow Cycle. I don't think... I might be wrong. I haven't actually checked the stats, but all of the Xbow players that I know, for example, Aragon has been playing other versions. A lot of other people kind of gave up. Betfist switched off 3.0 long back because it's just not that good in this meta right now. So out of all my friends and the people that I watch personally, and I'm usually used to watching the top players like, again, Aragon, Betfist, some Japanese players as well, Tyton is definitely the best performing right now. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Really glad I was able to share Tyton's end season 3.0 Xbow Cycle gameplay with you guys, even though he is probably not going to finish with 3.0 because he's a very versatile player. He's not going to hold himself back. If he is just getting hard countered all the time with 3.0, and he is going to be able to switch to other decks and perform just as well, if not better. So he is just probably going to do that, but I was still really glad to be able to record these games to show you guys how he was able to persist and survive in such a disgusting meta, and just such a terrible one for our deck, 3.0 Xbow Cycle. So very motivational again, very inspirational. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, please let me know if you enjoy this video. I know I do put in quite a lot of effort when it comes to finding his gameplay, you know, waiting for the right time, and also doing the commentary. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, though. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.